This is how I went from minimum wage to $25 an hour in college. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. My name is Richardson, Dackam. Today I'm going to share you guys a very personal story of how I went from making literally minimum wage to $25 an hour in college. This is also an example of how karma gave me a lesson really quick. During my year off after high school, I had a random conversation with my brother about minimum wage jobs. And I went on and saying to him that I will never do a minimum wage job. And he was a bit surprised by my answer. Then he asked me, how come? Like, how come you will never do a minimum wage job? How can you even say something like that? And I told him, I just don't see myself doing a minimum wage job. So his answer was that, well, you have to realize that sometimes people do minimum wage jobs out of necessity. It's not necessary because they want to do them. It's because they have to do them to survive or to pay bills. And he asked me, is like, if you were ever in a situation where you needed to survive or to pay bills or to pay something you wanted to, and the only job that you could do is a minimum wage job, would you say no to it? It really sank in. I was thinking about it for a long time. And then something in my head was saying, yes, I'll take the job. But then my pride at the time was like, no, I wouldn't take it. I will keep looking for something else. But I wasn't really thinking about the necessity at the time. And you have to realize I was like, after high school, I was still a youngster, I was still like young, still trying to figure out what I wanted to do and stuff like that. And I had all those dreams and I had some advantages because I went to a nice school and I was going to college. So I was imagining myself doing other type of jobs. So fast forward to 2009 and I'm in college. I'm at Arizona State University and I am looking for a job because there's all these things that I want to do. My friends are going on trip, they're going traveling, but I can't afford it. And I want to buy stuff. I want to buy a new phone, but I can't afford it. So there's all this thing I want to do, but I don't have the money to do it. So I started looking for jobs and I can't find a good job that is interesting, like a high-paying job. Because one, I don't have the skill to do this job, and second, well, I don't have the experience. So I started looking around and I told my friend, I've been looking for a job. And then one of my friends at the time was a manager at the MU, which is the Memorial Union. It's kind of like the living room of the campus where everyone go get, lunch or dinner, where they can eat, where they can hang out. There's all the activities in that area. So he told me that he's a manager at the MU and he could probably get me a job there as an event specialist. So event specialist is literally not what you think. And it wasn't what I was thinking at the time either. I was just expecting that it would be something different, but it was not what I expected at all. So then I asked him how much that job's pay. And then he says it pays minimum wage. So I was like, okay, what's the minimum wage in the US? When I went online and I typed minimum wage in the US and it says $7.25. And I was like, oh my gosh. So here I am in college and then the only job that I can do is a minimum wage job. So I told him, you know what, fine, sure, I'll take it. So I took the job, then he helped me with the paperwork and asked me for my hours and scheduled me the next week. So now, when I show up to work, I had no expectation of what I would be doing, right? So what the job was about, it was about moving tables. I had to carry really, really heavy tables and move them from one room to the other and set the room based on the requirements. So for example, if there were an event happening in one room of the MU, we had to set up the room really quickly, bring all the chairs there, bring all the tables, and make sure that it has the shape for the given events. So that was the event we're specializing in. So we're literally just moving table. This job was very physically intensive. I was carrying table for hours when we were working, and then sometimes my back will hurt. And I remember I would always look at my watch and just counting the minutes, just wishing for the time to end. I was like, oh my God, I just worked for 1 hour carrying 50 tables or so, and I'm only gonna get paid $7.25. I was like, this is really not worth it. But then at the end of the week, when I would get my paycheck, because it was an addition of all the hours I had put in throughout the week, and I would get my paycheck, I was really happy to get paid for it. I was really happy that I put the effort, then I put the work to get those paychecks. But then I was like, I don't see myself doing it all the time. I got to a point where I was like, you know what? FGs. I don't want to be doing that every single day. And then although it was kind of like a workout, I didn't feel like doing that every single day. And I felt that if there's people out there that make much more money doing something else, then I should look into it and figure out how to do that. So I went back to my dorm one day and I went on the ASU website and I started looking for jobs on the website. So I went on the site and I filtered it by pay. So I wanted to see what are the highest paying job on the campus and what skill do I need to do them. So I read every single job requirement, and every time I was just writing it down, trying to see, if there were one skill that I could learn in a week or two or so on, or whether I could just apply as an intern and maybe try to learn the skills on the job. Then I found this job at a local law firm, not really like a law firm, but they were mostly lawyer working on border studies and working on improving relationship at the border, doing research and stuff like that. So I applied for this job as an intern. And the funny thing is that when I applied to this job, I had none of those requirements. But I assume that because it's an internship and then some of the courses that I have taken in the past, I kind of related to, the environment because it's like environment at the border. and my economic class, because it's kind of related to the border as well, because there's some economic incentive and stuff like that. So I wanted to see if maybe they might hire me as an intern if they thought that I really wanted to learn it. So I applied anyway. And then someone answered, and then hear what she said. She said, "Thank you for your interest in our internship. We have already selected the 2 students who will be conducting this legislation research for our human trafficking project. However, we engage students on several different projects. I see you are currently taking economic courses. What sort of knowledge do you have about renewable energies and the economic related to them?" I had no idea what to say to that because I was like, oh, wait a second. This is crazy. I don't have any of those skills. This is not something I want to do either. And I was like, what if I can kind of pitch them on my skill? Because I remember seeing that their website was built in Drupal. And luckily, me and my brother, during that summer previously, we tried to build a startup in the music space where people could bid on instrumentals and beats. And the platform we used to build it was Drupal. If you guys don't know, Drupal is a platform for building website quickly without having necessary to have to code. But being able to code is really helpful in that context because you can modify the plugin that you're installing on your Drupal account and do other stuff. So at the time, I had absolutely no idea how to code. I just knew how to kind of use HTML and CSS and use Drupal and move things around. I would kind of figure out things as I go. So I told myself, you know what if I try to pitch her on the idea that I might not have the skills to do this as your intern, but I have a lot of skills building website that you can benefit right now rather than having to hire a software developer, for 10 times the cost. So I went on and I started pitching her about all the skills. I told her that, actually I know how to, I don't have a lot of experience with the 2 subjects that you mentioned, even though I've taken classes related to that. But I feel like I might be more helpful by helping you with your website because I have a lot of experience building website with Drupal, a lot. And then, so I just pitched her on my skills as a web developer. And I told her that I could help you update stuff to the website and fix things. And I sent her an example of what I have done in the past so that she can have an example of my skills. And it worked because when she answered, she was really excited and she said, you know what, I'm interested to have a conversation. What's your availability for next week? And this is how I booked my meeting. And when I went to the meeting and did the interview, I got the job. And I went from making literally minimum wage to making $25 per hour in college. And that's when I was a sophomore in college. So what did I learn from that experience? What I learned from that experience is that sometimes when you're looking at an opportunity of something that you want to do, a good way to get there is by reversing engineering that process. So for example, if you want to become a software developer, you have to ask yourself, what do software developers know? What can I learn in order to be a software developer? And I think that approach of reverse engineering a skill in order to get it sometimes can get you to that step much faster than you think. I went from being a junior developer to a senior developer in 1 year by using the exact same method. I just asked myself, okay, as a junior developer, what do I know? And what will it take for me to become a senior developer? What do I need to know? Because when people want experience, what they truly want is that you have the skills and you have proven that you can apply the skills through your experience. So if you have the resume, you have all the skills in the book, and you have example of you applying those skills, that sometimes equate to having that experience, because you've proven that you've worked with that skills multiple times, not necessarily long enough, but multiple times, to show that you can do it. So this is why, like, whenever I'm trying to apply for something where I might not have the experience, I make sure that I have worked on enough projects to show to people that, look, I might not have the length of experience, but I've have the quantity, because I've made so many projects that you can kind of like apply as if I had, you know, the length of experience in that skill. So don't assume that because you don't have a skill for something that you might not necessarily be the right person for it. Sometimes people just enjoy also people that are go-getter, that are willing to do the work to learn some skills, or vice versa, and so on. And I remember one of the things that I say in that email was that, listen, I might not have the skill to do that internship thing, but I am a hard worker and I love a good challenge, and I'm really interested to learn more about it if you don't have an opportunity for me as a web developer. And I think she really liked that. I think that's probably why she gave me the opportunity to have a job with them. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you want to watch another video like this one, you should check a video on my YouTube channel called How to Get Paid What You Deserve for Self-Employed. It's a video around the same topic about how you can make sure to get paid what you deserve. And if you want to watch it, make sure to watch it right now. And I see you guys in the next one.